Shri Nandanandana Bande Shivadika Charanantayam Govijana Swamita Pranavana Manora Shri Gauranga Nityananda Shri Vaita Chandra Yadar Sivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. This is Sunday Satsang class, July 13th or what? Thank you, July 13th. And we're discussing Bhakti Rasmita Sindhu. And we're on verse 2, second chapter, verse 230. He's describing the Panchanga Bhakti, the five most important limbs of Bhakti Sadhana, discussing Sri Nam Sankirtan. Because the verse from second Canto Bhagavatam, chapter 1, verse 11. Etanya Vidyamananam Ishatam Akutil Bhayam Yoginam Ripanirnitam Aver Namano Kirtanam. It's about Nam Sankirtan. And it says, by constantly chanting Krishna Nam, one will get all success, including freedom from material desires and transcendental knowledge. Here's a long purport by Vishnu. He quotes several verses. Rupa Goswami quotes several verses glorifying the process of chanting Krishna Nam. And he quotes an interesting verse from Padma Puran. You may wonder, why am I not spontaneously attracted to chanting Hare Krishna? Why is it so difficult for me to finish my rounds and just to be, so don't feel bad, because it takes a lot of qualification to be spontaneously attracted to chanting. Padma Puran says, Krishna's name will stay in the mouth of someone who has served Krishna for 1,000 births. So we've been serving Krishna for 1,000 previous births. Now in this birth, the holy name will always be dancing in her tongue. There will be any trouble to chant 64 rounds a day, or 2 lakhs a day, or 3 lakhs, or 5 lakhs, or 10 lakhs, whatever. But we have 999 more births to go. This may be the first birth that we started chanting Hare Krishna. Then he quotes a famous verse from Padma Puran. Namashintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashura Nityamukta Vinata Nama Nama. He has squirrel. See, there's an eagle, like eagle type bird that comes here and takes squirrels for lunch. So he was just here about half a minute ago. I saw him. When the monkey was there, he was over there. I looked over, I saw him. So they make this sound, this fearful sound, luring all the other squirrels. Heads up. Heads up, you may go to lunch in a second. It's like a type of eagle type, flesh-eating bird. It's the way nature is running. So Namashintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purnashura Nityamukta Vinatva Nama Namanam. Krishna's name fulfills all desires like his Chintamani. It is the very form of Krishna. It is full of consciousness and ras. Krishna's name is completely pure and eternally liberated. Nitya Purnashura Nityamukta. There's no difference between Krishna and his name. The name is called Chintamani because it gives whatever you want. It's also the Srupa of Krishna. The meaning here is that the one tattva of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, Satchidananda Tattva, and rasa appears in 2 forms, the form of Krishna and the holy name. And then he quotes another verse, also from Padma Puran. Ata Sri Krishna Namadi Nabhaved Grayaminjay Seva Mukhe Jivato Swami Basrayata. Krishna and his names cannot be understood by material senses. When a person develops a tendency to accept Krishna's name and form, Krishna will appear on the tongue and other senses. So, that's that. Then he quotes about, next thing he says, living in Mathura, Vrindavan. If you stay in other holy places in India, like Kashi or Hardwar or Ayodhya, etc., the reward you get by staying there is liberation. Really? You true over the guy. Really, going on dripping, you became intoxicated. Can't even walk straight. But by staying in Vrindavan, you get bhakti. Bhakti prachayate. Hari bhakti prachayate. Dinam ekam nivasena haro bhakti prachayate. If you stay one day in Vrindavan Mathura, dinam ekam nivas means living one day, Hari bhakti will manifest in your heart. That's really nice. Then he quotes a verse, it's his own composition, verse 238, chapter 2. Duru adbhuta virye svin shradadare stu panchike yatra svabhali sambandha sadhyam bhavajamani. These 5 limbs of bhakti. What are the 5 limbs of bhakti?
Panchanga Bhakti, Madhura Vasa, Bhagavata Shravanam, Harinam Sankirtan, Sri Murti Puja,
Vaishnava Seva.
Sadhusanga.
That's when you forgot. These way you better do more. Okay. You have a faith. What does it mean you have faith? You have a little sambandha, swalpa sambandha, a little relationship with these without offense. You can attain Bhava. Bhava Jamani means Bhava will appear in your heart. Now he talks about, he goes on and describes all 5 again. They're so important. He describes each of the 5, then power, now he's describing each of the 5 again. Talking about Murti, Sri Murti, the power of serving the Thakurji Murti of Krishna. He says, by experiencing the sweetness of Krishna's form, one will consider everything else insignificant. So when we take darshan of Krishna, we should pray to him, please conquer me with your sweetness, because I think other forms are more sweet than you. Men think the form of a woman is very sweet, and women think the form of man is very sweet. So they have more attraction to each other than they have for the Murti. So by praying to the Murti, who is not different from Krishna, he may, or she may, Radha Krishna Murti, in their Murti Archa Vigraha, they may bless the Bhakta with the experience of that incredible, unlimited sweetness. Madhurya Rupam. Krishna's form is called Madhurya Rupam. It's very sweet. Lila Madhurya, Veda Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, Prema Madhurya. It's all sweetness of Krishna, Madhurya. Now he talks about Bhagavatam. And I don't know where the verse is from, but he says the power of hearing Bhagavatam. I guess it is written by Rupa Goswami himself. It's a long Sanskrit verse. When he's talking about Bhagavatam, he's talking about the 10th canto, interestingly enough. Of all 12 cantos of Bhagavatam, especially the 10th canto, one should do Sri Bhagavat Artha Swado. What does that mean? Sri Bhagavat Artha Swado.
Relishing the meaning of Bhagavad.
Art means meaning, value. Dharma, art, kama, moksha. Art means economic development, profit, value, wealth, object. Art means desirable object. Thing. Art means a desirable possession, object, attainment. So swado means to taste the meaning of the Bhagavatam, to taste the meaning. So that's in general. Sri Bhagavat means all Bhagavat, all 12 cantos. Rupa Goswami specializes. He says, this is what he said. He said, "Oh, idiots! What does idiot mean?" Means morka. Mork. Fool, stupid. Nincompoop. What did you say?
Nirbud. No.
Nirbuddhi.
Yeah, that's really scholastic answer. Dear boot. Dear boot. I always said, dear boot. You're saying you're a boot. So what did he say? He says, "You idiots, how unfortunate you are that I think you must have been hearing all the syllables one by one of the verse of the 10th canto, because now you're no longer interested in Dharma, Art, Kam, the liberation." So this is called reverse. There's a type of Sanskrit technique where you condemn something which in the pretext, you're condemning it, but you're actually glorifying it. Like I say, if you want to keep attached to your wife and husband, don't see Govindaji. Don't go to Jaipur and see Rupa Goswami's Govindaji, because if you see, you'll give up. So it's like, don't go, which means he's actually go. Go to Jaipur, see Govindaji, and you'll give up your family. Move to Jaipur. This is praise in the Bhagavatam using the device of criticism. It's Sahitya Alankar, ornament of literature, called Prastuta Prashamsa. Prastuta Prashamsa. Device, praise in it, criticizing. You say, you're as ugly as Miss Universe. That's kind of funny. Get my son. You're as ugly as Miss Universe. That's a criticism, you're ugly. But it's actually, you're as ugly as Miss Universe, which means you're pretty good. That's funny. Okay, let's go. At least I can go. You always have to laugh at your own jokes, Nobody else may, but You should. One guy should. The power of association with devotees. Ever since I saw a Baba Bhakta who was crying, his hair was standing in, he was stumbling around out of ecstasy while trembling, my mind has become attached to Krishna. I lost all attachment to my family. That's what Krishna's Kaviraj says in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's two ways by which Mahaprabhu attracted people to Krishna Bhakti. What are the two ways?
By chanting
Fear
Harinam.
and taste.
By what?
Fear and taste. Rucha and
Fear and taste. Fear.
Let me repeat the question. There's two ways by which Lord Chaitanya attracted people to Krishna Bhakti.
Chanting Harinam in the street.
chanting and prasadam.
I didn't ask you how you got attracted.
Chanting Harinam in the street.
Chanting
Nam Sankirtan and Saundari Rupam. Saundari Rupam means beautiful body. Because he is beautiful as Radharani, beautiful as Krishna combined. He's a golden Krishna with the love of Baba Radharani. What makes one's face beautiful is the love in their heart. So Krishna had the love of Radharani in his heart, so he became extremely attractive and unlimitedly beautiful. So people see his form dancing down the street and surrender on the spot. They hear his heart now and they get praying. They get praying by seeing his form and by hearing his Nam Sankirtan. Krishna Nama Prasad, okay. Now I know you're, but I gotta give you a lot of prasad. Power chanting the name. Narmani says, no, somebody else said, I don't know who it is. Ever since I heard Narada singing Krishna Nam, I become completely blissful. Another verse describing the power of these five limits of bhakti. Alokik padartana, this verse 244. Verse 238 and 244 and 238 of chapter 2, Bhakti Rasamrita describe the inconceivable Achintya Shakti, inconceivable power of these Panchanga Bhakti, five limits of bhakti. Alokik Padarthanam Achintya Shakti Idrishi Bhavam Tadvishayam Chapi Yasaiva Prakashayat. The inconceivable power of these extraordinary five angas. Is it, you can hear that? Is it coming out okay?
Yes.
It's loud. I can't hear it. I'm so deaf. It's okay.
Okay.
Okay. I can't hear it myself, it's up there. No, it's okay, no feedback. Right? No feedback. Okay. The power is that these limbs can manifest Baba and Krishna at the same time. This is a very interesting idea. Krishna's commentary, or Jiva Goswami's commentary. He said, well, he quotes verse 212, Parananda Mai Siddhir Maturasvarsha Matrata. No, wait a second. Vishna's commentary. Bhav and the Vishaya of Bhav. Bhav means love, Vishaya means object. Means sense objects, but Vishaya means, like we say, Vivav Alamban Vishaya. Alamba means foundation. Foundation of Baba. The object of the foundation of Baba is Krishna. Then we say, Viva Alamba Ashraya. The rest of the subject of praying or the reservoir of praying is Radharani, or the Bhakta, the devotee. So when you engage in living in Mathura, you get Baba, Baba manifests in your heart and you get darshan of Krishna. Baba and the Vishaya Baba and Krishna appear at the same time. That's the speciality of living in Mathura. Or chanting Hare Krishna outside. These 5 lives. Living in Mathura, chanting Hare Krishna, studying Bhagavatam, or serving Vaishnavas. In Mathura, out of Mathura, you can attain Baba and Krishna at the same time. Because Jiva Goswami says in Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, when you attain Baba, it's not so here. One becomes eligible for darshan, but Krishna wants to show himself. This is a very important verse, 246. Those who are knowledgeable about bhakti Varashram is not an anga of bhakti. This whole idea of Daivi Varashram is not part of bhakti. He says, Samatam bhakti. Samatam means the approval, the consensus, everyone together. Like sometimes I explain, if one wants to be a Diksha Guru, he should have Sadhu Samatsu. Samatsu means the approval, the consensus. Many senior Vaishnavas should agree that he should be Guru. Beginning with one's own Diksha Guru. One's own Diksha Guru will ask the disciple, you should give Diksha. Then the disciple may, to get more confirmation, may seek the advice and the idea, the approval of other advanced devotees and gurus. My guru said this, what do you think? Yeah, you should do it. So that's what we did, and that was why we're here. But I wasn't too, my guru said to do it, and I begged a few times to try to get out of it. And I thought I can't get out of it, but I'm not convinced, so I met some other personalities, Ramakrishna Baba and Vaishnapada Das Baba, who are both very advanced leading devotees of Ananda Das Babaji. And they encouraged me to take up this service of being Diksha Guru. So this verse 346 says, the consensus of Bhakti Vijnanis, those who are learned in Bhakti, say Varashram Dharma is not Bhakti. But then someone may quote a statement from Vishnu Puran. Vishnu Puran says, Vishnu can be worshipped by duties of Varashram. But then, so what she would say that? Jiva Goswami's the Vishnu's commentary, verse 246 of Bhakti Sindhu, he said, this verse from Vishnu Puran approves Varashram as Bhakti, has been spoken only to encourage those persons who are not qualified for pure Bhakti. Some people aren't qualified, they're too attached to Varashram Dharma. They want to sit down, chant, worship, study Bhagavatam, Panchanga Bhakti. They want to do yogis and pujas, devatas, worship pitris. So in other words, Krishna is not backing off the point. Jiva Goswami, Guru Goswami says, Varashram is not an anga of Bhakti. Shiva doesn't have any commentary on this verse. Vishnu quotes the verse from Vishnu Puran. And then he quotes another verse from Vishnu Puran. Because Parasar is the one that said, this verse. Parasara said, Varasham Dharma is pleasing Vishnu. Parasara Muni is a great Muni, a great Rishi. But then he also said, speaking of Maitreya, he said, King Bharat simply said, Yagisha, Chuta Govinda, Madhava, Nata Kesha, Krishna, Vishnu, Rishikesh. He said nothing else, even in his dreams. So one side, Parasara is saying, Varasham Dharma is bhakti. Another side, he's saying, you should just chant Krishna Nam. So he's speaking two things. So Vishnu's conclusion is, Varasham is okay if you're not qualified for pure bhakti. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, and 6 Goswamis are preaching pure bhakti. What is the definition of pure bhakti? Wow, we had say double barrel shotgun. Very good.
Could you translate that, please?
You're looking at Bhakti Rasa Cinema verse 11.
Okay.
It says, Uta Bhakti is free from all personal desires and any covering of jnana or karma, any ambition for liberation or mystic power or material benefit or reward, and instead with a favorable, positive mind for the pleasure to please the intention, the Sankalpa, the intention of the activities of Bhakti are done to please, simply and only to please and satisfy Krishna. That's what the verse said. It's not mixed or covered with interest in astrology or yoga or kombucha. What's that drink called? Kombucha. It's some kind of, I don't know, some kind of drink that people are drinking. Some kind of fermented mushroom, some kind of alcoholic mushroom. So, Bhagavad Bhagavatam says, one should continue to practice Varnashram until one becomes detached from material sense enjoyment and develops faith for hearing Shastra and chanting about me. So, because that's the qualification to practice Bhakti, is faith in Shastra and faith in Krishna. So, don't give, like Shankar says in Niti Shastra, don't give up a sure thing for an unsure thing. So Varasham Dharma is based on the Vedas, so that ultimately it can lead to a good conclusion. But one should not mistake the idea, to think that Varasham in and of itself is a limb of Bhakti. It's not. Jiva Goswami's commentary. One should perform Varasham duties until one becomes detached and has faith in Bhakti. When we have faith in Bhakti, there's 6 symptoms of surrender to Krishna. One is to accept everything favorable for Krishna's pleasure. What is it? Anakoyasya Sankalpa Pradikuyasya Varjana. Rishishya Chitti Vishwasa Kuchuche Varnantata Karpanye
Atmaniksepa Karpanye.
Advan Sheva Karpanye Sad Vida Sharanagati. These are 6 limbs of Sharanagati. So when you come to Buddha, you give up everything else but Bhakti. Everything else becomes meaningless and distraction and obstacle to pure devotion. Verse 248, Rupa Goswami says, Jnana and Vairagya are suitable, slightly suitable for the beginning of entering Bhakti. Somewhat. but they're not angas of bhakti. But what Gyan, Jiva Goswami comments, Gyan in this verse means knowledge of the Jiva and Brahman are useful. But realization of Brahma Suyuja should be rejected. Jnana Vairagya are useful only in the beginning of bhakti. And up until the stage where one gives up attachment to other objects. Because Jnana Vairagya will distract a person from bhakti. They are useful only in the very beginning of bhakti. Why is that? And then he speaks why in verse 249. Because Jnana Vairagya generally make the heart hard. It says, Chitta Katinya Hetu Praya Satam Mate. Katinya means like thorn, like hard. Katinya. Chitta means heart, consciousness. It causes hardness in the heart. Bhakti by its very nature is extremely tender. Bhakti consists solely of thinking of Krishna's sweet form, qualities, and pastime. Therefore, bhakti should be performed with a desire to make the heart melt in relation to Krishna. We should get a very soft heart by practicing bhakti. Very soft and very broad, very compassionate heart. If we're hard and rough, we're not very devoted. Besides that, he says, Prabhu Goswami, the goals of Jnana Vairagya are achieved by bhakti alone. The goal of Jnana is mukti, the goal of Vairagya is Jnana. Those are all achieved by bhakti automatically. If a person has a taste for worshiping Krishna, even if one has strong material attraction, those attractions will be destroyed during sadhana without performing vairagya. So, take prasad and chant Hare Krishna. However, someone may argue, if vairagya is forbidden, would the person practicing bhakti be filled with material desires? To answer this dilemma, the author supplies his verse. Having a taste for bhakti will destroy attachment to material objects. The taste for bhakti not only produces vairagya but also jnana. Famous verse, first canto, chapter 2.
Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayodhika Janayatashi Vairagam Jnanam Charayam.
By serving Krishna, one immediately gets knowledge and detachment. Oh, this is the famous verse, 255. Anasaktasya Vishayan Yataram Upayunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandha Yukta Vairagya Uchate. Almost every devotee is God's heard this word. Yukta Vairagya. I bought this Rolls Royce to go on Sankirtan. I bought this Maserati to go out to distribute books. Yukta Vairagya. There's one temple president in America, he bought a BMW, really costly one, 835, and to come to the temple. drive to the temple. Everybody was a little not very happy with that. What to do? So this first translation. Vairagya means use everything for Krishna. Knowing that everything belongs to Krishna. Okay, good. Rejection of objects related to the Lord is two types. Not asking for those objects related to the Lord and rejecting them when they're offered. The Vaishnavas should never refuse the prasad of Vishnu. Hari Bhakti Lodge, chapter 2, verse 178. That's very important. Just like we go to temples, they give us tambo or betel nut of Radha Raman. The Vajraya gives it to us. So we take it, but we can't eat it, so we give it to some grihastha. We say, you want the Mahaprasad? They see what it is, yeah, I want it. And they take it and eat it. So that way we follow this rule of not refusing prasad. Or we're fasting. Like sometimes people say, no, I'm fasting. Oh, you take it and give it away or save it the next day or whatever. I remember one time I was, many times I'm doing a breath during Karti, and people bring prasad from Jagannath Puri. So I touched it on my head and I put it in a container and wait till the end of Karti. Yeah. You know the funny story about Jagannath Prasad? Jagannath Mahaprasad is many shastras describing how one should respect it. So when Mahaprasad comes, you should pay obeisance and circumambulate it. So one disciple, Bhakti Siddhanta, went to Jagannath Puri for Rath Yatra. I told this before. And he came back to Mayapur, Gaudiya Math, with a basket of prasad, Jagannath Prasad. And he went into the room of his Guru Maharaj, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. He said, Guru Maharaj, have a basket of Jagannath Mahaprasad. So Guru Dev immediately offered obeisance. And then he started circumambulating the disciple. The disciple was really, oh my God, I'm going to go to hell. My Guru Dev made obeisance on my feet. If I'm holding Mahaprasad, I can't get down on the ground. It's also an offense. So I just stand here. My Guru's head's on my feet. Now he's doing prickle on me. And I'm just some bhakti, I'm some devotee, not going to go to hell. So he was really shaking and crying. He said, Guru Maharaj, I'm going to go to hell. You made a basin. You did prickle. He said, no, you're carrying Jagannath. That Mahaprasad is Jagannath's through. This is the niyam, this is the right way to show respect to Mahaprasad. Pay respects, pay obeisance, and do parikama. So it's not offense, no offense, so it's okay. That's a really funny story. What do I do? Just like the question asks, you're in a temple, you're offering arti. There's no one in the temple. Well, except Krishna. The devotees are there. And then some sannyasi or some guru or some elevated Brishvasi, Goswami, or someone comes to the temple. What should you do? Should you continue arti? So this is where the fine points of Vaishnava Sadachar have to be learned. And where they learn, they're learned in the Vaishnava Smriti. Vaishnava Smriti means the law book for Vaishnavas. What's the name of it? What's the name of the Vaishnava Smriti for Gaudiya Sampradaya?
सनातन बस
Hari Bhakti
Hari
Vilas.
Bhakti Vilas.
Hari Bhakti Vilas, HBV. The Smriti means law book. It's a rules and regulation. So there in that book it says, if one is offering arti to Thakurji, and a Vaishnava comes in, first should stop the arti, go off the altar, greet the Vaishnava, offer them an asan, offer them some water, some Mahaprasad, speak some sweet words, and say, well, excuse me, I have your permission to go finish arti. So just see how elevated Vaishnavas are. Krishna commands, because the Hari Bhakti Vilas, the instructions were given by God. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instruction personally to Sanatana Goswami what to write about, and he said, Sanatana Goswami, when Mahaprabhu was instructing him, he said, how am I going to write this book? He said, everything will be revealed, and all the truths, all the statements, I'll make sure they're revealed in your heart. So Hari Bhakti Vilas is written personally by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the hand of Sanatana Goswami and Gopal Goswami. So this statement is there, Hari Bhakti Vilas. Lord Chaitanya is quoted as saying, I don't know, it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I will reveal in your heart all the things that put inside the book. So Hari Bhakti Vilas is highly respected Vaishnava Smriti for the Gaudiya Sampradaya. So that's what it's told there. So we should never refuse Mahaprasad. For whatever reason we may have, but now he talks about good qualities. So sometimes people say there's 26 qualities of a devotee listed in Chaitanya Charitamrita and other places. So should we try to cultivate these qualities? Rupa Goswami says in chapter 2, verse 261, basic rules of conduct, yama, rules of cleanliness, and other actions appear automatically in those who are very dedicated to Krishna. Thus, they are not included as angas of bhakti. We should learn behavior and develop these qualities based on the Krishna's commentary. Those who are extremely, there's a list, here's, oh, that's interesting. The 26 qualities are listed in 11th Canto of Bhagavatam, chapter 19, verse 33. Truthfulness, not stealing, detachment, humility, freedom from possessiveness, trust in Dharma, silence, steadiness, forgiveness, fearlessness, etc. For those, Vishnu says, for those persons who are extremely absorbed in Krishna, good qualities spontaneously appear. Skanda Purana said, internal and external purity, austerity, peacefulness, other qualities, take shelter a person who desires to serve Krishna. One can practice one limb of bhakti or all the limbs of bhakti and attain bhav and prema. It depends. Vishnu says one can choose a limb of bhakti according to your preference. Like you like to read, you like to chant, you like to do smaran, do smaran, you like to do puja all day. Like you go around frequent, go 5 times a day. Go around frequent. Or at least 3. They've got perfection that way. We see practically examples of people who have done that and gotten perfection also. They quote examples of devotees who attain perfection by one of them. Who got perfection by hearing?
Parikshita.
Who got perfection by chanting?
Sukadeva Goswami.
Who got perfection by remembering?
Pranab Maharaj.
Who got perfection by serving lotus feet of Krishna?
Lakshmi.
Lakshmi. Who got perfection by archana,
Vitu.
deity worship?
Vitu.
Who got perfection by offering prayers?
Akrura.
Akrura.
Akrura. Who got by seva? Hanuman. Who got by friendship?
Arjuna.
Who offered himself to the Lord?
Bali Maharaj.
Okay. Who did everything? Jai Jai Sri Radhe. That's a definitely an answer from Vrindavan style. Jai Sri Radhe. We did everything right. You're right. But according to Bhakti Sindhu, Rupa Goswami, who was very close to Radharani, said Ambarishwa. Let's say it this way. Ambarish did everything. Inviting Marg. Radharani does everything in praying Marg. We got a good group here. Verse 269. Some people call the path of Bhakti Maryada Marg. What does Maryada mean?
Behavior.
Conduct, behavior, rules, regulations, etc. And Raganuga Marg is called what?
Taste.
Ruchi Marg.
What do you say?
Ruchi.
No. Yeah, you'll find out later. You'll find out in verse 309. This is 270 we're on now. So that's the discussion of Vaidhi Bhakti. Verse 1, chapter 2, verse 1 to 269. Now, next Sunday, we'll start discussing Rag Bhakti, chapter 2, verse 270 to 309. Rag Bhakti is called Pushti Marg. Pushti means nourishment. Poshan. Poshan means nourish, to feed. So, Pushti Marg is also the name of Vallabha Sampradaya. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Those guys. Those are Pushti Margis. They worship Nachi. Gopal Nachi. Giridhari. Okay, kids.